Welcome to the So Happy Success Show. Coach Rebecca here, and today we're diving in with Design Your Vision, Design Your Life. And before we dive, I'd so appreciate if you would like and subscribe. If this resonates with you, it helps so much you would not believe. And without further ado, step one, because first what we need is we need a little bit of perspective, because this is what stops people from visualizing, is that what I have today is not reflective of what I will have tomorrow. What is true for you today is not reflective of what you will have tomorrow. But right now, in this moment, you're thinking, well, my vision is that I have the most incredible partner in the world, but I'm not even dating right now. Or my vision is that I have the most money in the world, but I haven't even started my business yet. Or I've just lost my job. Maybe something really, really terrible has happened. I have a vision for having the best health ever, but right now my body hurts so much I just can't even think about what it would feel like to even just not have this pain. So I understand that what you're living right now is not your vision. And that typically stops us because we think what I'm living right now is true and it's going to be true forever because it's true in this moment. But that's not the case. That's not the case. And I believe that should you be invested in the world of personal development, should you have watched me for a little while now, then you'll be on this trajectory of making a 1% better decision every day, and you will get those things. Now, I read this book and I've spoken about this book before. I feel like I need to do a book review on this book because it's something that I turn to. It's called For Everyone by Jason Reynolds. And I turn to it whenever I feel even slightly discouraged. And he says that, the thing is that everyone knows it depends. It depends on a multitude of things, but everyone knows that it depends. So I can't tell you when you're going to get those things, but your vision is going to start to attract those things. If you're, a spiritual bitch like I am, you're going to realize that those visualizations are going to attract the things, the opportunities, the people into your life. And that's a whole other video in itself. But what we have to understand is that what's true for you today, my darling, will not be true for you tomorrow. Tomorrow is a different day. You never know what's going to happen, for better or for worse, right? So when you have this idea of, okay, I understand, Rebecca, now, today is maybe true for me today, but it's not going to be true for me tomorrow, then what do I do next? You're like, I've accepted what you've said. You've hammered home the point for a minute. Let's move on. I got you, boo, because step two is, what is the vision for you? What is the vision for you? My vision was always, since I started my business, was location freedom and a loving relationship. And if there is anything, the story of my husband and I, we got married in less than 9 months of meeting each other. That is something that will show you how quickly your life can change. It has completely flipped my world on its head for all the best reasons. So if there's anyone that can tell you that these things, when they're right, can happen so fast, from personal experience, I can tell you they're going to happen so fast. So my vision was always location freedom and a loving relationship. Always, always. I'd been seeking those things out for my whole life. And it was very simple. And I fought against it and I battled it and I tried to settle down and all these things and it never worked. And I traveled the world searching for it. I went to New Zealand and Jordan and Romania and Vegas, because if you want love, Vegas is the place that you go, right? And nearly got married in Vegas. That's another story. To someone I just met. I love love, guys. I love love. But I traveled the world searching for it. And I made it a reality last year in Edinburgh. I was working for myself. I could work from anywhere. It's my favorite city, hands down, in the whole world. And you can disagree. I would love to hear, what is your favorite city in the world in the comments? Let me know, because I want to go and check it out. We're very fortunate. We have location freedom now. So I made it a reality in Edinburgh. I could work from anywhere, and that's where I wanted to work from at the time. And I met my husband, and now we live on a ranch in south of Texas, which is beyond what my vision could have imagined. But, I was just journaling about this morning. The 5-year-old version of me that was obsessed with Calamity Jane and Westerns and like, give me a Western musical any day of the week, just thinks that she's made it. So the thing is that after I had done those things, because that is my life now, then I had to expand my vision. So that's when it became supporting 100 women through my business, currently at 80, shout out. So proud of my ladies. And now in my head, what I'm putting out is, oh, it's 100 women and we're going to hit 100 women and then it'll grow. But in my head, it's 1,000 women, it's 1,000,000 women, it's speaking on stages, it's writing the book, it's sold out programs, it's New York Times bestseller. And it did not start that way. But now in my mind, that's where my vision goes. And those are just examples, and they're very typical examples for someone that's in the field that I'm in, which is coaching, that wants to do something to a really high level. This is the trajectory, or one of the trajectories. But whatever the vision is, it has to be yours. So my vision may not be your vision. It may absolutely be, and that's totally cool. We can vibe on our visions together. But areas of focus, typically, just to give you some ideas, because I know that when you hear someone that has a really big vision, it used to really turn me off. I used to be like, God dang it, I don't have that vision. So areas of focus typically are health, wealth, relationships. Also, health, wealth, and relationships are your three main niches for sales, just an extra little bonus nugget. But then there's also experiences and accomplishments. So maybe for health, I just had a little heart situation going on. My heart had a little electricity malfunction and was beating an extra time. So I was very conscious. There was a lot of heart chakra shit going on, guys. And I was very conscious that I wanted to be super healthy. So we changed our diet. I changed the times in the days when I exercised, and lo and behold, my heart beats like it's meant to. I know that you shouldn't want to be a perfectionist, but that's one perfect heart I got going on. So my health, that was my focus, and I visualized it and I thought about it and I got it. And wealth, I remember being 10K in debt and thinking what it would be like to be out of debt. And now as our investments grow, I think, oh my gosh, like what will it be like? What will it be like to be a millionaire? Our investments will get us there at some point in our lifetime. And the more effort that we put in, and the more intentionality and the more visualizations and more opportunities, the faster we're going to get there. So we don't have it now, but we're thinking in the future we could. Our relationship, oh my gosh, my husband and I speak about this all the time. We'd love to have children in our life in the next 2 to 4 years. So just putting that out to the universe, like we want some time, but we'd really like that in our life. So what does that mean? Well, we think about what we'll be like as parents. If we're not 100% calm human beings right now, we better work on it. We better work on it, because the relationship is going somewhere else. When we think about experiences, an experience, I'm just giving you loads of ideas from my own brain, but an experience that I am so excited about is to go shark diving in Hawaii with One Ocean Diving. This is not an ad. I just think Ocean Ramsey is like the coolest human alive, and this is her company, so I'm 100% doing it with them. It's an experience that we want in our lives. We actually had an opportunity where we could have potentially done it last month, and I got so mega excited and it didn't pull off, but it's okay. It will come in divine timing. But the experience, the ideation, the planning, oh my gosh, filled my whole soul. So maybe it's an experience, maybe it's an accomplishment. Like, I say to my husband every single morning, I say bestseller. He says 100 women. He's going to have to change that soon, let's be honest. But I say to him bestseller because he's working on being a debut bestseller with his epic science fiction fantasy novel. So if you don't follow at ZD Nesbitt, follow at ZD Nesbitt. And it's an accomplishment that he's working towards. And I have my own, obviously, I just highlighted 10 of them before we came to this point. But areas of focus are typically those things: health, wealth, relationships, experiences, and accomplishments. And it's a hard question. What do you want? It is a really hard question. I mean, think of that scene in the Notebook. It is all the drama, right? She's like, it's not that simple. And it isn't, but it has to come from you. And it has to be a little bit more specific. The reason I've given you very specific examples is because a lot of people just say, oh, I want, because I speak to women that are starting their own coaching businesses and wanting to overcome imposter syndrome so they can coach. And they'll come to me and be like, I just want time and financial freedom. I'm like, why? And not everyone knows exactly why they want it. Like, no one's emotionally connected to the vision that's the vision that should be pulling you, instead you're thinking of the pain is pushing you. Right now you don't have time and you don't have money, so the pain is pushing you to make this decision, and then people are confused when it doesn't work out and why they're not excited about it and why they don't stay consistent and why they're not motivated. Uh, is anyone else confused? I'm not confused because the pain is pushing you. So let's get a little bit more specific. If it is financial freedom, what is that really for? Is it because you want to fly yourself and your family first class to the Bahamas? Is it because you want location freedom so that you can travel because you've always wanted to go to Jordan or Australia or London? London came out. Okay, that was interesting. Maybe it's time freedom because you want to spend it with your grandkids or your family or your friends. Maybe it's an award because you grew up and you wanted it, or maybe it's a degree because you are the first person. I'm the first person in my family, in my direct family, to get a degree at university. You know, it was actually a really big deal when I got my diploma, and I did it a very different way, but that was a real pull for me, you know? Or maybe it's a partner that loves you unconditionally while supporting you to grow because you know what the opposite is. Whatever is the force, let it pull you because you're emotionally connected to it. It's not just some kind of airy fairy time and financial freedom because that sounds nice. It's very specific in what you want. And once you've worked this out, step 3 becomes so much fun. It's so easy. So step 3 is ways to remember to visualize, because I am like the most forgetful human. I will forget where I left my phone. I will not take the keys out of the car. I am geographically challenged. I never know what way I'm going. So remembering to do things, I have to set that up. So I do that in 2 ways. So the first I'm going to talk about is circumstantial. So I want to give you a couple of client examples because they're always so fun, and give you ideas of how you can do this in your life. Because, for example, I have a client that is working towards buying her own house with some land, and it's just the most exciting vision. And she said to me the other day, she says, I have a window that looks out to the woods in my bedroom right now. And I really want a balcony in this cottage in the woods in nature with land. She really wants a balcony. And she said, I could just open my window and feel that breeze, and I could have, you know, a tea. She's in the UK, so it's tea, right? And I'll tell you in a minute, I'll tell you a coffee example for my Americans. It's very interesting. But she's going to sit there with her tea and she's just going to think, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great when it's my balcony. So it's not true for her yet, but she can see it. And this is something that's circumstantial, right? So it's based on the circumstances she has right now. I have another client that had to go through a kitchen renovation. This is my American client, and this is a coffee. This is a coffee example. We love tea and coffee, and all my clients like have a beverage of choice, you know. So she has her morning coffee, and she went through a lot of home renovations and kitchen renovations, and it was very stressful. It's like worse than moving must be home renovations where you can't be in your space and there's workmen in your space all the time, and you know you're having to ferry your dog everywhere. You know, for her that was the case, and she was having to have coffee out most mornings and she had to get out of the house. So wherever she was having coffee, whether it was at her mum's house or whether it was a local coffee place, you know, it became a cue that that first coffee of the day, she would imagine that she was in her new kitchen and there was just peace and silence. And it's her and her dog. And she's just like seeing how beautiful this kitchen is. And it really helps. It helps when you have the vision that pulls you instead of the pain of, oh, this is so hard. I have work people. Oh, I just want my house back to be my house. You know, just like my other client could have said, oh, I just want my own house and I don't have it. Instead of the pain pushing you out the door, literally, then we're thinking about the vision that's pulling you and we're making it circumstantial. So you'll have things that are in your world right now that you can use that give you a little bit of what you want in the future, that are giving you a little bit of that idea. Every Tuesday, today is Tuesday. Interestingly, I'm recording this on a Tuesday and it launches on Tuesdays. So nailing it. But Every Tuesday, then we go into town. So we live on a ranch in the middle of nowhere with zero connection to anyone and only subpar Wi-Fi. So we go into town on a Tuesday. We do a lot of work from town, and I like to go. And this is something we've only just integrated. I like to go to a coffee place and I get a decaf coffee. It's actually called a Baby Yoda. It has pistachio and cinnamon. It's so good. So we go to this coffee shop, and that's what I have, and I work from the coffee shop. And what that gives me is the idea of when we are traveling more, and we're going to be traveling all of this month, we're traveling, so we're going to be traveling more, but it gives me that little kind of excitement of being in a coffee place and working from there, because that just fills me with joy. And it just makes me think, oh my gosh, like when I'm speaking on stages around the country, around the world, then I'm going to find these little niche coffee shops. I'm going to go and I'm going to work from there. And oh my gosh, how cool will it be when someone, maybe I spoke at a conference and someone notices me and says, hey, like I really resonated with what you said, and maybe thanks me and tells me a little bit of their journey. Oh my gosh, like that fills me so much. So whenever I'm sitting with that coffee and I'm working, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, someone's going to interrupt me. And then when people do, like when they say like, here's your avocado toast, I'm like, oh, thanks. I just think like, oh, imagine that interruption was like someone saying like, thanks for what you said. And can I have a minute of your time and can we work through something together? Oh my gosh, like circumstantial ways of visualizing are so powerful, but they can't be all that you're doing, because those are the easiest to remember when you're thinking about it. But there will be days where I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll think I've got a million things to do. The last thing I'm going to do is like visualize. But you can also curate. You can curate time to visualize. So this is where you have an alarm on your phone. Maybe it just has emojis of the things you want, right? Maybe you want a horse and a house and a husband or a wife and a baby, and or maybe you don't want a baby. Like, let's not like prescribe to what we should have in life. Maybe you want, Louboutins, and you've got like the little heel emoji. Maybe you just want to laugh more. You just got loads of laughing faces. Whatever it is, you can have it in emojis. You can have a few words that highlight your vision to you, or you can just say, remember the vision. I do that with a lot of my one-to-one clients, get a remember the vision text every day when they're starting to integrate visualization into their days, so that they see that text and it is a reminder that, okay, I just need to like close my eyes for a minute, and I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm going to let my thoughts rush, 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 go so, so fast, because this is the opposite of a meditation. We're going to let the thoughts go so fast, and then there's going to be shapes and colors and all the things, and it gets a little bit messy, and then we stop and we zero in and we just see that a part of that vision, whatever is the part that is resonant with you, you'll see. And that's such a gift, because you can do that in seconds. You don't even need to clap your hands. You can just imagine it if you're in a public place, but to close your eyes for a second and just think of those things, no one knows what you're doing. And essentially that is how to visualize in 3 steps. That's how to design the vision so that you are designing your life. I've used this for a long time, and interestingly, I'm living my vision. And a big part of last year was a battle within myself. And, I went to coach after coach after coach about this and asked, how do I expand my vision when my vision now is so much greater than I could ever have imagined? I didn't even think I'd make it to this point. And I thought, what do I do? And essentially the answer was, you need a bigger vision. And to create it, I had to decide what are the things that I want next. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy when you think that there was a part of me definitely in the beginning that thought I didn't even deserve what I had. And now I feel very deserving. So sometimes things take time. But oh my goodness, the gift that you're giving yourself by visualizing and sticking to these 3 steps. So step 1, perspective. It may not be true today, but oh my gosh, it could be true as soon as tomorrow. It could be true as soon as this afternoon. You don't know, right? So step 1 is perspective. Step 2 is, what do you want? What do you want? Like the notebook, but it could be simpler if you just let yourself dream. And step 3 is how to actually remember to do the visualizations, because it's all well and good to do it once a year when it's New Year's and everyone's doing it. But what if You could do it multiple times a day in most of the circumstances. You know, right now I'm talking to you and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how cool is this going to be from my office in the future? And I have a very clear piece of art y'all are going to go wild for that I'm going to have behind me. And I can see it and I'm so excited about it. And I know it's not true for me today, but it could be true for me tomorrow. And you'll have to come back next week to see if it is. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you like and subscribe, all the fun things. If you had a good time, send this to a friend who doesn't feel so clear or motivated right now. Let it help them, let it serve them. And in the meantime, as always, I'll see you next week and I'll be over here believing in you.